Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be unboxing Where the Breeze Begins from Cocoa Daisy and putting together a project. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, this collection is from March of 2026. And it is a super cute, springy, just fun collection. I am going to unbox what I got and I'm going to put it in this tray. If you're new here, I use these trays and I get them off Amazon. They are frequently sold out. I will link in the description box below if you want to see what it is and if it's available. And if not, you can try to find something similar. These fit inside of the calyx cubes I have on my desk, and I have those with shelves in them. And those are from IKEA, and I can fit 5 trays per cube in a calyx, and that way I'm able to store all of my current kits. So let's get into the collection. Okay, so Where the Breeze Begins. You always have the little marketing card that tells you about the kit and gives you like a little preview image and has a note from Christine on the back. I always keep those. I've intended to make myself a little mini album of all of the kits that I've worked with and all the projects I have made, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to that. And there's always just a fun little sticker that comes in it as well. I just throw this in with my kit, and I often use these in my journal. Okay, let's start with the classic cousin sticker kit. So I get 4 kits and I will talk about each of those, and I will put timestamps down below if you're interested in only watching the unboxing of 1 or 2 of them, or if you want to just skip to the process video. So let's start with the classic cousin sticker kit first. So this kit is designed for the Hobonichi cousin, but it really works in all journals and planners, or really anything that you want your stickers to be flat. I love this and I use it in my daily journal. I use it in my scrapbooks. I actually am not using a cousin in 2026, but I'm still going to continue getting this kit because I find it super versatile. So you always have 1 sheet of vellum that has some images and some like washi strips. I really love the washi strips because it gives you an opportunity to kind of play with washi without needing a full roll. And then you have 2 sheets that always have these boxes on them, which are perfect for on the weekly spread, or you can put them on your daily journal spreads just to like kind of break up your journaling. They're also fun to use in Project Life to create your own filler cards. And there's always some labels on there, which are just so useful. There is a planner icon set that comes in every kit that has the colors of the kit. And then I think this is probably my favorite sheet. Usually it just has a collection of decorative stickers and word phrase strips. I'm obsessed with word phrase strips, and sometimes those are in the scrapbook kit and some of the other kits, but not always. But if you get the classic cousin sticker kit, you always get these word phrase strips, which are just one of my kind of like must-haves for any collection. Then there is a set of planner like icons, some headers, and then days of the week headers. I use these sometimes in my journal or in my planner. I think I might start using these in my daily journal more in 2026. If you haven't watched my journal videos, I am using this daily planner from Sterling Ink, and it doesn't have the days of the week. So I might start putting these on tops of some of my spreads to use more of them and indicate that. I also use these sometimes in Project Life. And then there is this one that has more washi strips, although these are regular stickers, alphas, and a number. Okay, next I get the washi trio, and this is just an add-on of additional washi tapes. Sometimes it has ones that overlap with some of the other collections or other kits, so sometimes I end up with the same roll twice. I think I actually did that this month, but usually it tends to not be that with what I pick up, and I'm totally fine if I end up with 2. Usually it ends up being one of my favorite ones because I feel like for the 3 for the trio. They put the best ones that came out that month. And so then I like having a backup roll of my favorites, or if not, I can always gift it to a friend. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these out on my journal. This, like I said, this is my daily journal. I often swatch all of my new washi tapes in here. I also have a washi swatch book, which I will update once I get all of the kits out. But for now, I'm just gonna put them on in here so that you can see what they look like. So this one is like a nice green floral. And then we have a blue sky with clouds. I feel like this one's gonna be super useful. A lot of times I use washi most in my journal, but I do use it in my planners and in my project life and other scrapbook pages. But I feel like this will be good to document like a nice day, especially when it gets closer to springtime. This kit is designed for March. They come out early. So I'm getting it in January because, well, one, because I'm on the creative team, so I get them even earlier. But that way you have them in time to set up the month. But for me, spring does not really hit in March, but I like having spring supplies because it makes it seem closer. I am not a fan of winter, but I live in upstate New York and it gets really cold here and snowy. Okay. So this last one has some text on it. It looks like it's got some prompt words and then the days of the week. That one would be super useful for journaling or in my planner, of course. Okay, I'm gonna put this to the side for a moment and then let's open the stationery kit. Okay, so the stationery kit is a nice little kind of intro to Cocoa Daisy. If you want just a little assortment of things, if you do a lot of different projects, if you want a lower price point, I find that the stationery kit is a good kind of taste of Cocoa Daisy if you just want a little bit and you're not sure, especially because to get Cocoa Daisy products, you really have to subscribe. And so you can always subscribe to one kit and then you can get other ones as add-ons. So this is a good one to get if you just want to kind of get your foot in the door and get a taste of every kit and then pick up pieces of other kits right at release. So this one comes with 2 specialty papers. You've got a vellum and a transparency. Both of these are florals this month, super beautiful. I don't actually need that. Then it comes with a large sticker sheet. These are some clear stickers, and these are super cute in like just the designs of the kit. I think I had this backwards. I love the little houses this month. They are so adorable. You get 3 small sticker sheets. Ooh, a full page of houses, so cute. Some borders, and then there's always one. The 2 of them are always like a mix up of different things. Oh, that's upside down. But then there's also always one that is days of the week, just like in the classic cousin sticker kit. So I have some more options. There's a nice fun sticker in here. A little pin. These are cute to add onto your pouches or whatever you have to store your supplies. This month there is this nice little charm that would go on like a traveler's notebook. I'm not sure where I will use this. I think if I did my devoted album of my projects for Cocoa Daisy, I would put it on that because it does say Cocoa Daisy, but it would be super cute on the front of a traveler's notebook. There's always a 4x6 kind of like postcard, and these work perfectly in project life if you don't want it as a postcard, or you could put them in a mini album. There's also always a sticky note pad And these are so fun. I love these to add little journaling spots in my journal, to add them in Project Life. There are so many ways you could use these, and this one is so cute with the little houses. This month there is a stencil. This could be fun to use in your journal or planner. It's got some like nice planner shapes, some labels. I'll have to play around with that. The washi tape in here is the same cloud one that I got in the washi trio. So I'm just gonna put this in my stash for overflow. And then there is a set of die cuts. These are always on vellum and stickers that are in this kit. I'm gonna go ahead and open these. These are so cute. There's some little icons here. Oh, the little hedgehog with the balloons, florals, houses, clouds, just all the different icons from the kit. I love these mountains. I might need to hoard that for when I go to Banff in June. Just so many cute little designs. These will just be really adorable to use to decorate in my journal. Okay, and then last but not least is the scrapbook kit. So I get the scrapbook kit with the pocket card add-on. You can get it with various sizes of papers, or you can get it without an add-on. I like the pocket card add-on because I do a lot of pocket pages. But if you don't, you definitely could get the same kit with the scrapbook papers or however you wanted to use it. These scrapbook kits are definitely a higher price point, but I find that they are so jam-packed with supplies. I use them to do at least one weekly spread in my Project Life album, plus a spread in my daughter's album every month. I also use them in various other projects. If you were doing Project Life and you don't want a lot of supplies from various places, if you just want one subscription, I feel like you could use this to create an entire month in your album. You might need to bring in some basics from your stash, but there are a lot of cards and products in here that you could really fill multiple weeks from one kit. I'm going to start with the washi tape because this one seems so cute. Okay, so the washi tape here is just this really fun pattern. It kind of reminds me of a quilt, although I'm not sure why, because it's not like a grid, it's just stripes. And I lost where I put my ruler down. Oh, there it is. That one is so cute. Really gonna have fun using that. Okay, let's dive into the rest of the kit. Okay, let's start with the papers. So you always get 2 white pieces of paper, and these come, the 6x8 papers come regardless of what add-on option you choose. You get 2 white pieces of cardstock, which are great for basics. If you do pocket pages, I tend to cut these down to put into pockets to create some of my own journaling cards. Then you get 6 pattern papers. These are double-sided and there's 2 of each. Super pretty. There is always a set of rub-ons. I love that Coco Daisy has rub-ons. These are so much fun. I love putting them on top of photos, but they're fun to use in your journal. They are a great way because they add 0 bulk to your page at all. These are super cute. I love these tall, narrow houses and the word March. We've got an extra sticker sheet here with just some cute label stickers. There's always a chipboard set. I love these. Again, I love the little houses this month. This is so cute. The little clouds, those are going to be fun to use. It always comes with a 3x4 stamp set. This one has a lot of spring related items. Ooh, puffy stickers. There is not a puffy sticker sheet every month. So in this kit, certain things are included every month, like the papers and the chipboard and the stamp and the rub-ons, the washi, but other things, there's just like a variety of embellishments. So you're gonna get a mix up of what you're gonna get each month. I love when they do these puffy sticker sheets though. These are some of my absolute favorites. These little circle ones are so cute, and I always love geotags. I just staple it onto the backer so that it's easy for me to access without putting it inside of the outside packaging. I'm gonna do the same for the alphas. So this kit always comes with some sort of alpha. They're not always the same one. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're small, sometimes they're puffy, sometimes they aren't. There's always some sort of alpha though. And here I have these nice puffy alphas in this like green color that goes really well with this collection. We've got some enamel dot. I believe that there's enamel dots in every single kit, but sometimes they switch it up a little bit and there's some sort of variation on them. I don't use these necessarily as much as I used to, but I do like them for creating bullet point lists. Here we have some little vellum pockets. These are smaller than 3x4, but you could put them on top of a 3x4 card if you're doing a pocket page layout to hold like a little tag or some ephemera, or you could put these on a traditional scrapbook layout. There's also always a die cut set, just like the ones in the stationery kit. These are stickers, but unlike the ones in the stationery kit, these ones are cardstock instead of vellum. Let's see what we have here. We've got some little florals and birds, balloons, labels, house tree. I find that because these ones are in the scrapbook kit, they're geared more towards scrapbooking. So you have things like more sentiments or places to add some journaling or add a little date stamp, as opposed to the ones in the stationery kit, which are more like decorative images to put in your journal. But both of them I think are very interchangeable. I really love this March Days one. The little clouds are so cute. There's this nice big tag. More florals. Balloons. Very, very cute. Okay, and last but not least, let's go through the cards. So there's only a few 4x6 cards, which is good because I don't really use that many 4x6 cards. There's always one with the month. There's also always the calendar, usually on the back of that one. I don't really use the calendar ones that much because I always use this one, but they are super cute. Also very adorable. And then there's the 3x4 cards. This kit is just so cute. This reminds me of like the older Becky Higgins kits in like the best way. I love the colors. It's perfect for spring. It's got some cute elements, but it's not too cutesy. So I'm super excited to play with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off for a moment and I will be back to put together a spread in my daughter's album. Okay, so I'm continuing working in my daughter's album, and I just got to move some of the stuff out of the way. If you're new here, or unfamiliar with this project, I have been doing monthly recaps in my daughter's albums to recap her high school, and I'm currently in the beginning of 2022, which is her junior year. So I'm just gonna go through, and I printed some photos here. And essentially what my process is for working on this project. First of all, I'm using the Cocoa Daisy kits each month, and these are going to go into my daughter's albums. I have albums documenting her childhood, especially her older years. Her younger years, I still need to go back and fill a lot of those in. But for the older years, or the later years, I'm still just working through high school. And I've been using these kits as a way to kind of recap each month. And I didn't do a lot of this documenting at the time, but I am able to go back and do it because I have all my photos organized digitally on my computer. So I can go through those, and basically I go through those photos and I print the ones that include my daughter or stories about my daughter. And then I go through my Project Life album from that time period and write down stories, just quick notes. So here's my quick notebook, and I just wrote down the stories that kind of prompted from this month from my Project Life album. So my Project Life album is very much focused on me and my life. My daughter obviously shows up a lot, or at least did when she lived at home. So a lot of her stories were told in there as well. But this way I'm able to kind of recap them for her in an album that is intended for her. So I'm gonna go through these cards and decide what I need here. This month, honestly, not a ton happened. I have a few different little stories and then just some random everyday life photos, which is kind of nice because a lot of these recaps, I've had too much content and it's been hard to narrow it down to one 12 by 12. Okay, so let's go through these and decide what I want to include. I'm just looking at my stories here. And really, so my daughter had prom dress shopping, and we went out to eat a couple times. Here's her driving. Here's the photo. I honestly don't know exactly what this is a photo of. It was a screenshot from social media from her in high school. So she's clearly doing something in a classroom. This one might be super cute, just to add a little detail. So because I don't have a ton of stories, I can just add some cute filler. This one might be good. I like that one a lot. And then I could do something like this just to add a few stories. Or this one is also really cute. This one would be good for the food if I wanted to specifically document that. Or this one. I tend to do a bullet point list of stories, but I honestly don't have that many for this month. So I'm thinking maybe one of these two. I really like this card a lot too. Also really like this one. It goes really well with that title. Okay, so I think I like that. I really kind of don't want, I kind of wanted to do a patterned one so I could play with a chipboard here as opposed to doing two full filler ones. So I'm looking at the pattern paper. And I think what I might do is trim this one down and create my own filler card. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim this to a 4 by 6, And then I'm gonna use that as a base for one of these 4x6 pockets, as opposed to using this current nude card. And instead I'm gonna use that one. And I'm thinking about some embellishments. I want to put some embellishments here. I might add like a little title or something. I want to add a little bit of embellishing. I think I want to do that one for my journal card. I liked this one, but there's not a lot of white space, and this is a very busy card and I have a lot of busyness going on, so I think that one's going to be better for there. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is put you guys on voiceover so I can get the rest of this one put together.
Okay, so these spreads usually come together pretty quickly, and I think that's because I'm used to doing Project Life where I have a full spread and this is just the one side, so it just feels so small and simple. I usually start with my title card. I have been stamping the date, or so I guess the year, on these title cards for the entire process of working on these in my daughter's album using the same Elva stamp from Amazon. It's just a nice basic stamp, and that way they all kind of have this kind of unifying numbering across each spread. I feel like they are not necessary because in my album you kind of know what year it is as you're flipping through. They're in chronological order, but I like having the year on it because sometimes when I think back I'm like, what year was my daughter a junior? And I can't remember. So anyway, so I'm working on this bottom right-hand card here. Like I said, I didn't actually remember what this was, or I don't know that I ever knew, but I just decided I'm going to document it anyway because I think it might be a fun photo for my daughter to look back on. I decided I wanted to put some washi on here and add a title, but I originally was putting the washi from the kit and it was just so busy, so I just pulled some white washi from my stash and used that as a base just to add a little bit of a buffer and bring a little bit more white space into the spread. There is not a lot of white on this spread. I have that one filler card with the birds that has a lot of white, and then there's a off-white on some of the other cards that I think works really well kind of as a white, but everything else is pretty dark, so adding this white washi really helps brighten the spread. Here is where I mess up a little bit. So I decided to write Hello Spring on here because this is kind of when spring is getting into full swing in March, as far as like spring activities, because like I mentioned earlier in the video, I live in upstate New York. It's very cold and brutal here in the winter. And so there's not a lot going on because you can't really be outside. So this month, my daughter's track started. So they started running outdoors. She has indoor track during the winter, which was kind of just like a filler. And then other just activities were just ramping up at school. So I just wanted to put a little bit of that there and fill in a bit more on this card. So I pulled that label, one of these labels from the die cut pack out, and these are stickers. So I'm just peeling the back off and I'm just gonna stick it on there and just add a little bit about all the spring activities that she was getting into. But this is where I messed up. So I put this down and then I didn't like where it was. I was trying to like put it underneath the hello and I couldn't really peel it up or fit it under there. Like it was too sticky. So I had to peel it up and then put it down, and then the hello like wasn't overlapping it the way I wanted. So then I have to shift all the letters up. So I recommend, if you do this, to put all of your labels and everything down before you put the stickers so that you can line it up. So the reason why it was bothering me though is because the way it hit the top of the letter was just right hitting the edge of the label. And I just don't think that that looks that good. I think it looks better if the letters are either overlapping with part of the label or they're not touching it, not immediately on the edge. I feel like that's just a little bit, I don't know. It just doesn't look good to me. I was considering adding another die cut piece there, but nothing really worked for me. So I decided to just add one of these word phrase strips that are actually from the Classic Cousins sticker kit. But if you don't have that kit, you could always use something from your stash or add another little label there or a stamp. I'm just adding a little bit of journaling onto here just to document all of the spring activities that were starting and just that she was at school, because I don't actually know what's in that photo. This is a photo of us going out to dinner, and we actually went out to dinner a couple times during the month. We used to go out to eat a lot while she was in high school. I think it was a lot of like post-COVID, like making up for having to cook for like a full year at home or only do takeout. So this one we went out for tacos and we are cheersing some drinks. Obviously hers is not alcoholic. And then the other one is her and I just went on a sushi date. So I just wrote a little bit about us going out to eat this month. And then I'm just kind of trying to shift around the cards so that I like the layout of them. And then this photo is her picking out her prom dress. So actually this is her junior prom. So her junior prom dress, and the prom wasn't until later in the season, but this is when she actually purchased her prom dress. And so this was the picture that she posted on social media of her dress. I guess it's a thing that they do these days in high school, or maybe not anymore, but when she was in high school, things changed so fast. But they all posted on like this shared account, and then it was supposed to be like once you posted, no one else from the school is supposed to get the same dress as you. I don't know, but this was the dress. This was her photo that she posted to like claim this dress as hers. And then she wrote, or then I wrote here just a little bit about picking out her dress and getting ready for prom. And then I stamped on there, I didn't remember the exact date, but I just stamped 3/22 for March of 22. And then there were some additional spaces on there, and I didn't really want to add anything else or any like other words. So I just pulled one of the die cut pieces that I thought really worked with the colors and stuck it on there. This card here is going to be for my bullet point list. So usually in this project, I include a bullet point list of things that have happened during the month, just like little micro stories. And like I said at the beginning of this process video, not a lot happened this month, which was kind of crazy because when she was in high school, it seemed like there was a lot going on every month. We built a house and moved during her sophomore year. COVID hit during her freshman year. We went on lots of travel, like just a lot of when we could, once COVID was over, we were traveling. Like there was a lot going on, she was learning to drive and stuff, but for whatever reason this month, nothing special happened. So I just have a very short bullet point list. So this card was perfect because there's not a lot of space to fill in. And I'm using my Zig dot marker to make the bullets. And I realized after I did the first one that I really should have used the enamel dots. They would have looked better. They would have coordinated with the kit a little bit more and added a little bit of texture, but that's okay. This is fine. And then I added a die cut bird on there just to bring a little bit more color in and fill out the card. I'm just going through and trying to decide if I wanted to add any of these additional puffy stickers or if I wanted to add any of the letters, like write something else. I added one of the puffy stickers onto that tag in the top right corner just because I felt like there was still some space to fill in. And then I'm just going to go ahead and slip everything in the pockets. As I'm slipping things in, I'm trimming them down. I'm checking to make sure that I like the layout. And I feel like this was a good recap of everything that kind of happened this month. I am super happy with how this one came out and with how these are coming together in my daughter's album. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.